where I was earlier today. I was in Israel.
I was gonna say,
in Israel earlier
just getting
today.
today?
Yeah, I came in today,
wow.
and my flight was at like a little bit few minutes after 12 o'clock last night. So
So like, when was the last time you slept? Did you sleep on the plane?
I didn't sleep. I slept on the plane. So that's what I'm counting as my sleep for today. But I'm going to enter into a sleep study after this, though.
Yeah.
Small boat.
Yeah. We're going to begin our service on page 24 of our Siddurim with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei El Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boechem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei El Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei El Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seichem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei El Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 25, I'd like to invite Shoshana tonight to light our Shabbos candles.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat.
May His radiance illuminate our hearts.
Light is the symbol of the divine.
The eternal is my light and my salvation.
Light is the symbol of the divine within us.
The human spirit is the light of the eternal.
Light is the symbol of the divine law.
For the mitzvah is a lamp and the Torah a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission.
I, the eternal, have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chalik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat holiness.
Amen. We continue on page 27 of our Siddurim with the Chai Dodi. Lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela shamor b'zachor b'dibor echad. Ishmi anu echad nuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad lishem otziferet b'litila lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela likra Shabbat lehu b'nelcha ki hi mekor ha'bracha. Merosh mikedem nesuka, sof ma'asar b'mashatila lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela hi'ori kiva orech kumiori. Ori, shir daveri kavod Adonai alai negila lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela. Now we face the entrance or exit of our buildings. We welcome in the Shabbos bride. Boi v'shalom atzeret ba'ala. Gam besimcha uvetzolach, toch emune am sigula, boi kala, lechai Dodi likrakala yedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lechayda dili grakala yenedai b'nei Shabbat. Nekabela. We face now the ark as we join together for the Hatzi Kaddish on page 29 of our Siddur readings. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabba B'yomad yivrach rutei b'yomlich malchutei B'chayechon u'b'yonechon u'chayetecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'bizman karib yemeru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam olam le'almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitzadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudusha Brechu Le'elam mikol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damira b'alma v'yameru Amen. Page 30, we join together for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Page 30, we join together with the English. Eternal God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish what your sovereignty adores. Though all things pass, not let your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ari Barabim. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who brings on the evening. Page 32, we join together at the bottom of the page. With eternal love you have loved your people, the house of Israel. Torah and commandments, statutes and judgments you taught us. Therefore, O Eternal our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will discuss your statutes and rejoice in the words of your Torah and your commandments forever. For they are our lives and they lengthen our days, and we will meditate upon them day and night. May you never remove your love from us forever and ever. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who loves God's people, Israel. Page 33, we join together for Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated for the V'ahavta on page 34. V'yata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levatcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzadecha chayom al levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'beitecha u'b'lepecha v'derech u'shachpecha u'vkomecha Ukshartam le'ot ayatecha, v'hayu l'totafot v'neinecha, uktatam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha, leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai, v'item kiddushim le'lechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem m'eretz Mitzrayim, le'ot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. Page 35, we join together for the responsive reading. Eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Let them beat their spears into ringbones.
Let nation not sword against nation, let them study war no more.
You shall not hate another in your heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Let the stranger into your midst as the native, for you were once strangers in the land of Egypt.
From the house of bondage we went forth to freedom, so that all be free to sing with joy.
Page 36, we join together from Michamocha. Michamocha b'alim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati lo toisei fele, achut acharu v'necha b'kigam livnei Moshe, ze eli anu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifra Adonai et Yaakov, u'b'lam hazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 37, we join together for the responsive reading for the Hashkivenu prayer. Cause us, O eternal our God, to lie down in peace and to awaken us each morning to life renewed with strength. Spread over us the holy shelter of your peace.
Help us to order our lives by your counsel and lead us in the paths of righteousness. Be a shield about us, protecting us from hate and war, from pestilence and sorrow.
Curb also within us the inclination to do evil and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Guard our going out and our coming into life with peace from this time forth and forever.
Blessed are you, O eternal, whose holy shelter of peace is spread over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Page 38, we join together for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat le'doretam berit olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat le'doretam berit olam B'nei uven b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. B'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat le'doretam berit olam. Ki sheish yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat ulasot et hashabat le'doretam berit olam u'bayom hashvi'i shavat v'inafash shavat v'inafash shavat v'inafash v'shamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat le'doretam berit olam. We rise on page 39 for the Amidah prayer. Adonai sefer titach ufi agite hilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imoseinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor V'Hanurah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot U'mevii geula livnei b'nechem leman shemo v'yahava melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah atah gibor le'olam Adonai mechayei hakol atah ra v'hoshia mashiva ruach v'merid hageshem mekalkel chayim b'chesed Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim Umatir asorim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Micha mocha ba'al gevurot Umidoi melach Melech memit Umechayei Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emar atah lechachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shim hakadosh v'shim b'chol yom ya'alu chasela Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We daven silently until page 47 where we will join together for Oseh Shalom. After you've completed davening, you may be seated.
sorry. I always did that to you.
I think you just put it on his back.
Yeah.
We join together on page 47 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom B'Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. V'yameru, Amen. So today I normally ask people to talk about our Torah portion, but today I'm going to talk about our Torah portion and I'm going to talk about Israel. I want to give time for people to ask questions afterwards, a little bit of an Orthodox tradition for us here today, but that's what we're into here. So we're going to start off with me talking about our Torah portion first, and then we'll talk afterwards a little bit about Israel and any thoughts that come to mind. All right, so this week we enter into Shemot. It is the book of names. The book in which our people, our family, they become a nation from promise to pain and ultimately towards redemption in this week's Torah portion. As our Torah portion opens, we read of the children of Israel. We read that they had multiplied greatly in the land of Egypt, and what should have been a blessing for many in Pharaoh's eyes was seen to be a threat. Fear gives rise to cruelty, and Pharaoh enslaves our people, crushing them under forced labor. And when enslavement is not enough, he turns to total annihilation. He commands the Hebrew midwives Shiphrah and Puah to kill every male child firstborn, and when they refuse because of fear of God, Pharaoh escalates his decree ordering his people to cast out every Hebrew baby into the waters of the Nile. In this moment of darkness, a child is born to Yehovah. An act of both desperation and of faith, she places her baby in a basket and sets him upon the waters of the Nile. While his sister Miriam stands to watch from a distance, Pharaoh's own daughter discovers the child and has compassion upon him, raising him as her own, naming him Moshe, or in Hebrew, because I drew him from water. As Moses grows, he leaves the safety of the palace. He goes out to see his brethren. He sees their suffering with his own two eyes. He witnesses an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, and unable to stand by idly, Moses strikes down the Egyptian. And the following day, he sees two Hebrews fighting amongst themselves, and he attempts to intervene, and they confront him with his actions. And Moses realizes his life is now in danger. He flees to Midian, and there he rescues the daughter of Jethro. He marries Zipporah and becomes a shepherd to his father-in-law's flock. There in Midian, God appears to Moses in the form of a burning bush at the foot of Mount Sinai. And God calls to him and commands him to return to Egypt to confront Pharaoh with a simple but revolutionary demand: Shalach et emi v'ya'abduni, let my people go so that they may serve me. It is at this time Moses' brother Aaron is appointed to be his spokesperson, and together they return to Egypt, assembling the elders of Israel, proclaiming that the hour of redemption is near. The people believe, but Pharaoh does not. And instead, Pharaoh hardens his heart. He intensifies with oppression. At the end of our Torah reading, Moses cries out to God in anguish. He asks, "Why have you done this evil to my people?" To which God responds not with rebuke, but instead with promise. God promises redemption is close at hand. So some of you may know that today, as I started off, As I told everyone, I boarded a flight from Israel and arrived here. The trip that was organized through Stephen Wise Free Synagogue in New York City. It was truly one of a kind experience. Earlier this year, I was elected among 25 rabbis from across the United States to participate in the intensive fellowship journey to Israel, which just completed this past week. And during the week, we received in-depth briefings from Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari from Israel on Israel's most current security situation. We met with public intellectuals such as Dr. Einat Wolf. We spoke with Elian Levy as well about Israel's public diplomacy challenges that it faces. And our journey in Israel took us from Tel Aviv to Kibbutz Kfar Aza. And on the Gaza border, we engaged with local leaders and residents about the events of October 7th. We also visited the Nova Music Festival site, and we met with someone named Rimo Salman al-Horazadia, and he was a police officer, a Bedouin, who was recognized in Israel as a hero for his actions taken on that day. We learned from experts including a professor named Eyal Fruchtel, and we also met someone named Kochav Elian Levy. Both Elian Levy and another person we met with named Rabbi Nir Oz are experts in the field of the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, and we studied in Israel the dynamics of the relationship that Israelis have amongst one with each other in depth. We visited as well in Israel the Druze Situation Room, which was put together by Israel, and we received while there strategic briefings on the Golan Heights and Israel's most northern borders, and spoke to local officials about the ongoing security and humanitarian challenges Israel is facing. Upon my return, the question many of you or some of you have already asked me is, what was the most powerful or memorable moment of the trip? And that is a very difficult question to answer. Every moment in Israel, every second there seemed to be earth-shattering. And so for inspiration, where do you think I turn? The Torah. Of course I turned to the Torah this week. This week we read of Moses seeing injustice around him and refusing to look away. He sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, and he intervenes. He sees his own people fighting, and though it costs him dearly, he still speaks up. The sequence of our Torah portion this week perfectly frames my own reflection of Israel in the past few days. Over the coming months, I'll continue to share insights from my journey to Israel with our community, but one question will anchor everything that I share. Where did this journey truly begin? Any answers? All right. Well, on our first day, we met with admirals, dignitaries, and officials in Israel. The real beginning for our journey, the moment that rooted everything, was our visit to the Nova Festival site and Kibbutz Kfar Aza in Israel. Standing at Nova, it was overwhelming. At the memorial site was towering portraits of those who were murdered on October 7th. Faces as tall as life itself. It was young people my own age, your age. Some of you, actually. There were people who were older there as well. There were doctors, lawyers, even rabbis. They had come to dance, to celebrate music, to experience joy. And I thought back to my own years of when I lived in Israel, the nature parties as they were described then, the outdoor techno festivals that many of my friends had attended, the power that music had to bring people together, and I felt profound connection to the victims in that moment. Not only because I am Israeli, but because I recognized a shared subculture, that shared humanity to which we all have. And as I searched through the names, I found a memorial to Hirsch Poland. And I also found a memorial to 3 friends who were au pair from Israel who were killed on that day. At Nova, I was reminded that over 300 people were slaughtered, and many were taken hostage by not just terrorists, but also by Palestinian civilians who crossed the border. The horror is something that we must all bear witness to. And silence is not an option. This too brings us back to our Torah portion of today. Moses saw the suffering of his people and chose to act. He chose not to remain silent or be remaining neutral. He did not look away. He did not say, "This is not my responsibility or my people." Today we're called to be like Moses, whether in Israel, on college campuses, or in New York City. We cannot remain silent as our people face a renewed wave of global anti-Semitism and hatred. It is our responsibility, our sacred obligation, to stand with Israel now more than ever today. The ideology of hatred against Israel and against the Jewish people has made its way into our own communities, and now is a moment that we must confront it, to expose it for its moral failings, and to stand firm against it. May tomorrow be the day that we stand like Moses against hatred, against indifference, and against suffering, and may the people of Israel know security and peace. And may the day come soon when the region is freed from terror and from conflict, and redemption is no longer a promise, but a reality. Can ye hear us, Sonia, be God's will. Amen. All right, so today was unorthodox, but we're going to stick with that because we're a Reformed community. So, any questions about my trip to Israel so far? Not one. One question. You can ask. This is the opportunity. Were you going to ask a question? I'm going to start pointing at people, okay? I'll give you a few seconds, okay? I'll give you a few seconds.
All right.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Where is it now? Do they see it coming to an end?
Seeing
or
what come to an end?
the interaction that you still have from Hamas attacking? Or do they see it coming
Wow, I
to
could
an
like
end?
talk about this all day. This is great. This is, keep them coming, okay? Keep them coming. All right.
got it.
You'll have plenty of time, each and every one of you, to think of the next question while I give this 30-minute answer to your question.
Yeah.
Does it have an end in sight? Is it going to be reaching? The simple answer to that question is yes, there is. There is an end in sight. Israel has made remarkable strides in its security position that it did not have prior to October 7th. Right now, Israel is poised to have strategic buffer zones all across the Mideast that it did not have prior to October 7th. There is the establishment of a buffer state in Somaliland. There's the establishment of a buffer state in the north of Israel, along where the Druze communities live, and they're being provided some support by the state as well as from international support. There's also the establishment of buffer states and buffer positions in southern Lebanon that Israeli positions have taken, of course, position in. And lastly, and of course not least, to answer your question, the buffer zone that has emerged in Gaza itself. There is a yellow line that has been established there. Within the yellow line, you have Bedouin tribes who are serving the interests of both their community, Palestinian interests, and as well national security interests for Israel. Now that does contradict what Hamas's objective and strategy is, which is total annihilation, not just of Israel, but their own people. But by supporting the Bedouin tribes and supporting those who are within the yellow line, there is an alternative for the Palestinians, and they may choose to side with destruction or side as residents and as a people with the area within the yellow line, which is part of a promising future for the future of the Palestinian people. The desire of Israel is that that buffer state will continue to prevail against the alternative, which is total annihilation. The real question is what will happen under Trump's plan in Gaza in particular, if it will lead to a quote-unquote reconstruction that will still allow Hamas to remain in power, if it will lead to other boots on the ground actually removing them forcibly. I personally think that the most realistic option is the option with the buffer state that has already been established, and there being two alternative realities for the future for the Palestinian people, one destruction or production. Yes?
I've been seeing stuff, and I take everything I see online with a grain of salt these days, but I've been seeing stuff about, like, Turkey deploying troops in
Yeah,
Gaza.
that's what I was talking about.
Okay, and so...
So I actually got to, when I was there, I met with Israeli officials and Israel American officials, and I met with the ambassador of the United States, Huckabee, of course, while I was there. I asked him directly that question. That was my question I asked him. We all had questions. That was the first question I asked, and I said, are Turkish forces going to step foot in Gaza? Because that's not just something that Israel doesn't want, that's something the United States doesn't want, that's still something that Saudi Arabia likely doesn't want, something that will destabilize the whole region. He said point blank to me, no. and I recorded him saying it, so I can
Okay.
hold it up, I can hold him to it, okay?
So I guess it's because Hamas wants it that everyone's saying that it's happening. Is that what?
What, the Turkish forces would step foot there?
Yeah, it sounded at least again.
I don't think that Hamas would, Hamas's objectives in that are kind of, it's neither here nor there. It's the security interests of Turkey to put forces there because they'll have access to a deep sea port and for them to expand their military influence in the region.
I mean, we know what happens when we let the Ottomans expand.
Yes,
but
the United States don't want that. Israel certainly doesn't want that. Will it happen? That would be the last. That would be the last. That would be the worst idea.
Yeah, I had a completely different. Again, this is why I have to take everything online with a grain of salt because I had a completely different idea of what that was supposed to be, and people were saying that it was something about how because they're sympathetic to Hamas that they would essentially be able to rearm themselves, and that was I
Could or could not be true. It's irrelevant to the point that the fear of the region is that Turkey has already expanded their network and power into areas of Kurdistan and all across Syria as well, and expanding that into Gaza. No one in the sphere of influence of what I will call civilization do want that because they're a destabilizing force in the region.
Yeah, so that's what Turkey does.
Yeah. We have time for one more question, one last question. Go right ahead. Stephen, I'll get to you
It
too.
appears that there may be a revolution in Iran.
Yeah.
Which would affect the funding
Yes, it would.
for Hamas
Yeah.
and Hezbollah and
It
all
would.
that. What is the feeling?
It's a direct result from speaking to everyone in Israel and also just sort of watching the news over the past couple of years. It seems more than apparent it's a direct result of Israel's very proactive role in stabilizing the region, which was otherwise destabilized, and it's received assistance from, of course, the United States in doing so, thankfully so, and we're at the verge of potentially collapsing the Iranian regime. Yes, that would destabilize Hezbollah, that would destabilize all these non-state actors which are receiving extensive support from the terrorist state of Iran. Will it be successful? If not this time, maybe the next time around. It's hard to say when that will happen exactly. But their time is limited. It's not going to stick around forever, that regime. So long as pressure continues from both the United States and Israel. That's what it seems like. All right, Stephen, last question.
So
You can ask me all questions after this too.
So beyond Turkey, is there talk of Egypt or Saudi Arabia or any of them putting their own boots on the ground in Gaza to push this whole process along?
It's really been 3 states mainly that have been acting, both Turkey, the United States, and I don't think that it was any of the Gulf states. You see, the Gulf states typically have, they contract out their military oftentimes, so even if they did have their own boots on the ground, it isn't going to be Saudi actual forces, it'll be contracted, their version of Blackwater. Okay.
In Egypt,
No, that would be the last people I think that they would want to bring in potentially because Egypt is made it very clear with Sisi that he will not get himself directly involved. It seems most likely that it will be the United States that if any of these states get involved, it will be the United States. I don't see any other nation being able to stabilize the region in an effective way. And certainly if it was like the UN peacekeeping forces, which we observed all the way in Lebanon when we were there as well, they're in the act of just watching terrorists sprout out everywhere and do absolutely nothing. So they're completely useless. I'm glad to know that a lot of funding goes to them to do absolutely nothing now. All right, so there's our discussion of today. Keep on coming each week, and we're gonna talk more about it. So you can think about more questions for next week. All right, we're going to turn to the Misha Barak prayer now at this time. Our Misha Barak list includes the following names for today: Arlene Mann, Prima Riccio, Asher Ephraim, Kami Zabadik, Evelyn Levy, Ira Roth, Esther Captain, Sharon Wander, Courtney Zabadik, Austin Volk, Jay Simkoff, Carol Fantel, Yvette Zamos, Harry Satin, Rich Bernaldo, John Manziano, Arthur Schneider, Martha Martinez, All right, I'll take it. Arthur Schneider, Martha Martinez, Jerome Douse, Alan Steinberg, Barbara Steinberg, Christy Simkoff, Gail Katz. Are there any additional names anyone would like added to the list for today? Yes.
Shirley Dorfman.
Shirley Dorfman? Okay. John, your name's off now. Yes.
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield.
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield.
The Hockenberry family.
The Hockenberry family.
Frankie Barr.
Frankie Barr.
Deborah Callahan.
Deborah Callahan.
Lori Hanson,
Lori Hanson.
Joyce Pine,
Joyce Pine.
Neil Yavrakis,
Neil Yavrakis.
Rochelle Lewis,
Rochelle Lewis.
Alan Cantor.
Alan Cantor.
Gabriel Levesque,
Gabriel Lebecki.
Mike Costello.
Mike Costello. Any additional names? No. Alright, we're going to join together for the Misha Bera prayer at this time. Misha Bera Avotenu Mekor Abraham Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Bera Imotenu Mekor Abraham Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We rise now for the Elena on page 49. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol atei pidula liatzer reishit shalo atzanu kikiyei aratzot velo salmanu kimishpechot ha'adama shalo sam kalkeinu kahem v'goraleinu kichol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishpachalinu moidim lifnei melech malchei hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehunatei Shamayim Yosir Haaretz Umoshiv Yekaro Vashamayim Mima'al Ushchinatu Zo Begovei Meroimim Hu Eloheinu Ein Od En Elokeinu Efezulato Kakatuv b'torato v'yadata yom behoshivota el avevecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim nima'al v'al haaretz mitzachad ein od. Page 50. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off till the world of the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all acclaim you as their God, and forsaking evil turn to alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves. To your glorious name let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, and you rule over them soon and forever. For the dominion is yours, and you rule in glory, as it is written, the eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar dehaya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. Remain standing now for the Mornis Kaddish found on page 52. In just a moment, I'll be reciting names from my Yortzeit list as well as members of our community who have recently passed. After the names have been read aloud, if you would like to add any names to our list, please do so at that time. Today's Yortzeit list includes the following names: Elliot Levis, Millie Estring, Harry Hayers, Mark Huberman, Aaron Sayowitz, Jerome Pollack, George Feldman, Jonathan Hudis, Max Porras, Hyman Aronson, Leonard Goodman, Clarence Manziano, Barbara Goldberg, David Feinberg, Howie Korn, Arnold Flan, Etta Spivak, Tammy Sheff, Martin Pine, Daniel Wander, Dina Lerner, Howard Barron, Solomon Kuhlman, Jerome Roth, Rachel Boyer, Jeffrey Suslowitz, Parlene Schwerd, Beatrice Korn, Charles Flasig, Ann Longmore, Sheila Lewis, Ruth Levinson, Cecile Libros, Christina Lana Scholar, Harry Guttmacher, Leo Blumenstock, Bernice Bodock, Louis Rothberg, Edward Spivak, Gary Friedman, Bertha Friedman, Saul Schreck, Stephen Finkel, Carol Lichtenstein, Bernice Peck, Molly Netterman. Recently passed from our community are the following names: Michael Berkowitz, Marcy Victor Banks, Marissa Kowski, Evelyn North, Betty Martin, Lenny Popper, Fred Mushkul, Jeffrey Milstein, Phil Garfinkel, Evelyn Sheff, Shoshana Elia Bat-Devora, Eli Oster, Roy Smith, Faye Shauna Small, Elaine Ash Gordon, Ruth Topol, Alan Natterman, Regina Pasternak, Ruth Dawes, John Hockenberry III, Beth Lizarovsky, and as well we have Christina Lana Scholar. Are there any additional names for today?
Abe Rogovin.
Abe Rogovin,
April Dolch.
April Doach,
Marianne Mulca,
Marianne Malka,
Judy Hemmert,
Judy Hemmer,
Nora Montoya,
Nora Montoya,
and Philomena Cotillo.
Philomena Cotillo,
Arlene Fournier.
Eileen Foyne,
Julie Marks
Julie Marks,
and Mayor Richard Pucci.
Mayor Richard Pucci,
Debbie Friedman.
Debbie Friedman. Okay. The words to the Mourner's Cottage are on page 52. Please remain standing if it is your custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma dirach yirutzei yamlich machutzei, b'chayachon v'yonechon v'chayetecho beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen, yahei shmei Rabbah nevarach l'olam olamei amaya, yitzbarak v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitzraman v'yitnasei, v'yitzhadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal shemei d'kodeshah b'rechu, Leila Mikol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Damiran V'Amal V'Imru Amen Yesh Lama Rabbanin Shamaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Yokol Yisrael V'Imru Amen Oiseh Shalom Yimromav V'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yokol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We now have an opportunity for our exciting announcements. Max, it's you. This is the exciting announcements time. You're pointing fingers at one another. We have 3 board members with us tonight. This is a very special evening.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking with the Rabbi will resume on January 21st. Volunteers needed for the Constitutional Review Committee meeting January 21st. The next Torah reading service will be on January 17th and then February 14th. Grades 5 through 7 will lead services along with strumming for Shabbat January 30th. Blood drive is February 15th. For more information about any of these events, come speak to a board member after services or call the office. And as always, check your weekly emails for a complete schedule.
Thank you. Alright, we're going to conclude our service with Adon Olam on page 53. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yisir Nivra V'yet Nasa V'cheso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nidra V'yachai Trei Kibot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu yeh v'tzifara, v'hu echad v'ein sheni, v'amshi lo l'hachbira, v'li reishi v'li tachli, v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra, v'hu eli v'chayev goali, v'tzorchev li v'yesara, v'hu nisi umanos li, Menat kosi beyom ekra, biyado afkid ruchi, biyeti shan biya'ira, be'im ruchi biyati, Adonai li velo ira. Good Shabbos everyone, Shabbat Shalom. We'll join for the Kiddush in just a moment. Shabbat Shalom.